right, guys, today we got page 5 of Superior, issue 1. So we're going to get to work on this. And this is a copy of the original page that we're going to redo. And I already started sketching, working on the first 2 panels. So this is what I came up with for the first 2 panels. It is panel 1 that we're going to, pretty much this is what I'm going to put on panel 1. So let's get at it, guys. Yeah, I decided I was going to start recording, well, not recording, but editing, uh, doing these videos on my iPad. So the software, is different. I usually use InShot on my cell phone, and even though it's on a cell phone, that software or app is really great, man. I think they better than CapCut. Actually, they like to compare it to CapCut, but I think they actually, in my opinion, I think they're better. As far as they offer you better, better features and functions for the price. I mean, it's like a one-time fee on your Android cell phone, but I'm using it on Apple iPad now, and it doesn't cross over. So I mean, I would like to use it on Apple iPad, but so I'm using a different software to edit my videos. So it's gonna take me a little while to get used to this, but I got to keep the videos coming though. But yeah, so this panel is pretty much coming out the way I see it in my head and stuff. And I know a lot of people might be like, man, why are you redoing it? Why don't you just go ahead and print it up like you had it? Well, I mean, after I really got back into my artwork and drawing every day, I could see the improvements that I've been making in my sequential art. And watching other guys and stuff like create comic books and stuff like that helped me understand and get better at doing my sequential art. And I just figured I could do a better job than what I initially did. Even though I would tell most people, finish your book and then don't worry so much about going back and redo it. You do better on your next issue and stuff. But since I didn't finish this book completely, so I figured I'd go ahead and redo it and finish it to my liking. So yeah, I think this panel's coming out pretty good, like I wanted. Yeah. And I know, man, it's going to take a while to do this. I got several books I'm trying to work on at one time. But, sometimes when inspiration with a story hits you, you got to put it down on paper and stuff, So you gotta work with what's fresh in your head, and when the story's going good and everything, you gotta go ahead and put it down on the paper, man. It's then getting to doing all parts of the book. You gotta ink it, you gotta do the story and lettering and stuff like that. The lettering is probably the easiest part of this whole thing because of me using Comicdraw. I mean, I keep calling it Comicdraw, I'm sorry, but it's Comicdraw. But me using Comicdraw has made my lettering my book so much easier. So that's probably the easiest process of doing this whole book is the lettering. So you might not even see me video the lettering part of doing this book because I breeze through it so quick. But okay, let's see. This is the sketch I have for panel 2. So let's get at this panel. But this panel is pretty much a almost exactly redo of the original, but the artwork I think I did better with the details of the panel, and I zoomed it in a little bit more. I felt like I didn't have to try to show the whole as much as I was showing in the original panel. So I wanted to zoom it in a little bit more. And that way I could concentrate more on like the computer panels and stuff that's on the actual a resurrection chamber that he's fumbling around with, which he doesn't understand what it is though, but that's pretty much what it is, a resurrection chamber. The Norins, he has the blood DNA line to activate this chamber and stuff, but he doesn't know this. So he's fumbling around with it, and he activates it merely on the fact that his DNA matches the required DNA to activate the chamber. He's just admiring the shiny buttons and jewelry like type material that's on this resurrection chamber. So in the process, he accidentally activates it. Yeah, I find that once I really, get an idea of what I want the scene or the panel to look like, I find it easier to put my thoughts down on the paper than I used to, and that's coming from doing it more. Like the more I'm doing this, the easier it seems to be to do it. That's why I tell a lot of young artists, never think your artwork is at its best. I mean, always approach drawing like the next time I go to do this, I'm gonna try to be better than the last time. Because what I find is the more I do this, the better I feel like I become. So, and I think that's a process that happens with every young artist or every artist. The more you do it, the better you get. I feel like you're never going to be at your best. It's always going to be room for improvement. Even some of the big name artists that do comic books and stuff, I'm pretty sure they'll tell you the same thing. Like, they always, unless you just set in your art style and you don't want to change anything, then that's fine. But I always feel like, the more I admire art and look at art, the better my eye for it becomes. The more little details you notice, the more you notice about the shading and the highlighting certain parts of the drawing and stuff like that. All that comes with experience and time doing it. You got to do it. You got to keep doing it. And the more you do it, the more little details you notice. So, so even when guys who think like, oh, I can't really draw that great or whatever, if you keep at it, I'm telling you, you'll improve. I mean, I watch some YouTubers who started off pretty much drawing like pencil stick figures, and over the years they became better and better. Like I got some guys that I follow on Instagram, and man, the improvement that I noticed with their artwork is amazing. Yeah, so all right, so we're on panel 3 here, and we're giving you a little more showing where he activates this resurrection chamber. And I'll get more into the story once, I really, like far as the story, the details of the story, I really want y'all guys to buy the book so y'all can get the real gist of it. But yeah, so this is like a basically this story about the Planet Noir stuff is basically about royalty, like Superior. He's basically a royal a royalty, like one of the sons of a king and stuff like that. And each one of the sons or siblings gets sent out in a part of the galaxy where, you know, they conquer worlds and stuff like that. So they all get sent out to parts of the galaxy for their own planet to rule over and stuff like that. And this is how they spread their empire in the universe. And Superior, he was sent to this planet Noir. This planet Noir is named based off of them. That's why it's called the planet Noir, because he's a Noirian, and he was sent here. And basically, he was sent with attendees that's supposed to see to his resurrection. So he's supposed to travel in space to this planet, you know, in this resurrection chamber, you know. So he sleeps through the whole traveling process. And once he gets to the planet that he's intended to rule over, he's supposed to be awakened by his attendees. And his attendees are very powerful Noirians and stuff. They're like his royal guard. And what happened was something interrupted the process of this whole process of the attendees resurrection him. And the attendees are also in charge of establishing, building his royal city and stuff like that. That's supposed to be already established before they awaken him. He's supposed to have a royal awakening, you know, to his new city and stuff like that, to which he's supposed to rule over. And that never happened. So this is why, this Noirian is waking him, and this is not one of his attendees. So, you know, this is not one of his royal guards, you know, one of the people that's supposed to awaken him. So that's why he's in this resurrection chamber, or whatever you want to call it, his sleeping chamber. And you know, only a Noirian can awake him from this chamber. That's why it's been activated now, because actual Noirian is touching the dials on the chamber. But yeah, so that's kind of some of the backstory, and I'll get into like who the Alabastians are and stuff like that. You know, this is the premise of my Noirian universe, or the whole planet Noir. Planet Noir is based off the royal Noirian Canaanites, and that's what Superior is. He's one of the sons of a great empire that rule over many sectors of space in this universe. And this sector was supposed to be his to rule over, you know, with his royal attendees. And not to say that they don't have their enemies out there in the universe. But anyway, so this is what's going on now, is one of the Noirians' descendants, not one of the attendees, because the attendees are not here to do their job of resurrection, awakening Superior. And they wouldn't awaken him to this not having his city and everything prepared for him. They wouldn't dare awaken him, without doing their job. But yeah, so that's what's going on, guys. All right, so panel 4 is more of the chamber opening. And the Noirian here is startled because they haven't seen technology like he hasn't seen technology like this. This is like, amazing technology to him. But if everything went like it was supposed to on this planet, this wouldn't be nothing new to him or big to him. But it is. Yep. So I think this I wanted to definitely change this panel up some, because this panel I wanted to make him look more surprised and shocked and startled at the what's going on with this chamber, because he's, like I said, he's never seen anything like this before. This is new to him. Yeah, see, I just realized something in the panel before. Since it's a back scene, I need to show where the doorway he came in the background of that scene. So I gotta remember to correct that also. Yeah, I'll correct that in the inking part of this. See, like this scene, the fourth panel, is more of a back scene where you're looking at him from the back. That's why I had to switch the the resurrection chamber around. Yeah, I just realized, I needed to show the door in the previous panel, or the entrance to this chamber. And all right, let's move on to the next panel here, guys. Next panel is another scene. We flipped the camera around again, guys, and this time, after opening the chamber, our Noirian starts to experience, something going on with him different. Because also what happens is, all right, with the Noirian people, all right, the Noirians are interconnected to the Noirian Canaanites. All right, when they go and also start this, conquering another part of the universe, or they start their own planet and colonizing and stuff, all the Noirians that's there are intertwined with that particular Canaanite, a Noirian Canaanite. So with him being resurrected, or once he wakens, it increases the power and activates the natural abilities of the Noirians that's around. That's his part of his lineage, or his attendees and stuff like that. They're all connected with him. So basically, with him being resurrected, it activates the power of the Noirians. So basically, Superior starts off my whole universe, my whole comic book universe on the planet Noir. There is no superpowers on the planet Noir without Superior. So yeah, their DNA is sparked by his resurrection, or his awakening. His consciousness activates any Noirian blood that's in his proximity. So any Noirian that's on this planet at this moment, their DNA is going to be activated. If they're part Noirian, if they half Noirian, if they full-blooded Noirian, their DNA is getting activated once he's woken. So this is how they manage to be strong and conquer universe parts of their universe and sectors of the galaxy. Because not only are the Royal Noirian Canaanites strong, their attendees and anybody within their bloodline gain strength from their king, basically their ruler, so the royals. That's what's important about the royal Canaanites. That's the reason why they're supreme leaders of the Norins, because they activate powers in the Norin people. So that's why they hold them in such great regard. That's why they're royalty, because they have this ability with their people. But anyways, that's basically to the beginning of my Norin universe. That's why I started this book, Noircomiccreations, because the Norins are basically like you have your universe with mutants and the DC universe where I don't know what supposedly caused the people in the DC universe to get powers and stuff like that. Now the Alabastrians and stuff like that, they're not really a race built on superpowers and stuff like that. But even though the Norins are superpower like this, the Norin Canaanites are the royal Canaanites are super powered like this, they also are very spiritual beings. You know, they don't go out dishing cruelty among other people unless you're their enemy. If you're their enemy, you're gonna catch the full wrath. But other than that, they're not cruel rulers or anything like that. They're just very powerful spiritual but they do have sworn enemies that if they was to come across, is on sight with them. You know, they're sworn enemies. They have no compassion or anything like that for them. Like I said, it's on sight. And we'll get more into that story maybe in the next issue of this book and stuff. We're going to get to it a little bit in this book, but I'm not trying to jump the gun on you guys. You guys going to have to stick, with me and, read this book or get with this book. So all my comic book characters that's going to come out, all the other characters. Now, it's some of my characters that the Raging Guild has nothing to do with Superior, as far as the reason why he's the way he is, or his people, or the Mer people that he's from and stuff. Raging Guild has nothing to do with Superior, but other than Raging Guild, and it might be some more people that's on this planet Nora, that they were the original inhabitants of this planet. The world Canaanites, they didn't create this planet. They just came here to colonize the planet. Now there were beings that were already on this planet before they got here, but they didn't know of those people. Like the Raging Guild, his people, they was under the water, deep, under the sea and stuff like that. So Norin Canaanites had no knowledge of these beings being on this planet. But but everybody else, pretty much, most of the superpower beings on this planet are Norins or have Norin blood. Now, United Regions. These are characters from the other books that I've been talking about, the United Regions and stuff like that. And they have nothing to do with the Norns, but they do have something to do, their bloodline and stuff like that, from the clans and stuff they're from, definitely have something to do with the interruption of the superior's natural rule of this planet. We're going to get into that later in this book. All right, guys. So pretty much this is all a scene. This page is the whole scene of Superior being, I keep saying resurrected, but awakened from his sleep chamber. Because basically that's all he was in. He was in a sleep chamber to ease the, not that he would be had a problem with traveling from one part of the galaxy to another, to his given sector of the galaxy where he's supposed to rule. Not that he have any problem with the travel, because he's well capable of traveling and stuff, but for the comfort, they would never want him to be in any discomfort as far as traveling and the time that it would take and stuff like that. So that's why they have these sleep chambers, so he can sleep during his space travel. That's the only reason why he would have this, so he could arrive in comfort and stuff like that. But anyways, so this is all just a process of him, being woken up from his sleep, from the space travel that he's supposed to endure and stuff like that. And to his surprise, it's not the awakening that he was expecting. He's supposed to be woken up to a great celebration to royal attendees, making sure that he awakens to comfort and luxury and stuff like that, because he's royalty. All the little comforts royalty you expect and stuff like that. That's what he was supposed to be awoken to. But he's like, hold up, what's going on? Like, what's going on? And the Norn here, he's getting overwhelmed from his DNA being activated. So, the Norns also have clans, and their clans are based off of basically these different clans and stuff of the Norns are based off or what descendant of attendees they are descended from. Because each one of the attendees that was supposed to be in charge of building the city and making sure he awakened to a city and his luxury of royalty, each one of them are different, type of Norns. And with each Norin being different, that affects what kind of abilities and powers that they have. But yeah, guys, so that's going to be pretty much, this is what this last panel is depicting, that the Norin, his DNA has been activated and he doesn't know what's going on. Yep, so yeah, I was having real trouble with trying to get this panel right. And I'm still going to change some stuff, like once I ink it. Like I got the hand on the outside of his leg. I think once I ink it, I'm going to put the hand in the inside, like his hand is reaching between his legs, not on the outside of his leg. Yeah, I'm going to change that. Yeah, but I think I'm happy with the muddle. I'm sorry, the muscles and definition that I put in this panel. I'm not necessarily happy with the neck and the head, the way the head and the neck is. I mean, I'm going to move on though, because a lot of stuff that I don't like, I'll fix when I ink it. Yep. Anything that I can.
All right, there you go, guys. That's gonna be the completion of page 5. I told you we're not stopping, man. We're gonna finish this, and I'm still working on the coloring of the pages. I'm coloring page 3, I believe. No, I'm still coloring page 2, and I'm working on the inking on page 3. So I'll be trying to catch up the videos on that, but we're not going to stop the penciling, man. And this is the previous page. See how plain this kind of look? I think it looks kind of plain. You know, the action look, I mean, you can tell what's going on, but the action looks kind of, it's like I was trying to rush to get the story, but I really wasn't putting like no oomph in the action sequences and stuff. So this is what I did now. I mean, I still kept the face in that panel, but I kind of spruced it up some. Did a better drawing depicting, his face. I still got the, I'm gonna do the power and stuff, all that with the Procreate. This right here, before I just had the head. You really couldn't tell what he was actually doing. And so I emphasized this, and I made the guys look more aggressive in the background. And I brought this shot in a little closer, and made it look more like he was choking off the smoke and stuff like that. Yeah, I think I just, and I wanted this one right here. I wanted him to more so like he was startled than just standing there. So there you go, guys. That's going to be page 5. See you in the next video. Peace out.